Would you say you're good at transforming?
I think so. Yeah. I resonate with like a chameleon.
Do you think that change is a good thing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course. I think that's an essential quality of life. Yeah.
It's actually quite unnatural to not change.
I agree. Right. That is like almost the weirder thing.
I'll be honest and say I wasn't paying attention to Addison Rae for a long time. She was just one of the many TikTok dancers the algorithm kept pushing at me during the pandemic. And a lot of people wrote her off the same way I did. She was morphing from a saccharine brand-friendly dance influencer into a legitimate pop star. She got the cosign of many other people in the music industry, namely Charli XCX, her biggest supporter. And honestly, we don't see this type of transformation often, especially on the internet. When you shed your old image and change, it can be met with criticism or vitriol if people are attached to what you used to be. Addison figured out how to navigate through the systems of the internet and society in a way most child stars don't. And I want to look at 1, how she does it, and 2, why this matters. But really, I want to know how we as everyday people with no interest in becoming pop stars can learn a thing or two from Addison Rae. And before getting into the specifics, I want to lay some groundwork. You have probably heard of the panopticon somewhere on the internet. It's a prison design where a guard tower sits at the center and every cell is visible from it. But the prisoners can never tell if they're actually being watched at any given moment. Because of that, the prisoners are basically self-policing. Most people describe the internet this way, and it can be, but I have to disagree. Then there's the synopticon, which is the inversion of that, and it describes mass spectatorship. Instead of one watching many, many watch one. Think celebrity culture or citizens holding their elected leaders to task. The audience, or the many, watches the few to correct their behavior. You could also think about cancel culture in this way. And I don't think this is the right one either, but it does have its place. And then there's the Omniopticon, which is where I feel like we live now on the internet. Everyone watches everyone all the time. There is no clear distinction between who's performing and who's observing because everyone is doing both all the time.
We see each other. We see each other.
I think this works better for the internet because the panopticon and synopticon carry these heavy and negative connotations, but the omniopticon doesn't have to be negative. As much as people say the internet is a mistake, I have to disagree. Just like in life, we see the best and the worst of it. I get so much enjoyment from learning and connecting online. It doesn't have to be a miserable experience if you don't want it to be. But I can concede that my frontal lobe is developed and I didn't have unfettered internet access as a kid. For the digital natives like Gen Z and Gen Alpha, the constant negativity online can feel destabilizing. In 2025, a Pew Research Center survey of 1,300 American teens found that 48% now believe social media has a mostly negative effect on people their age, which is up from 32% in 2022. On top of that, 45% say they spend way too much time on it. Recently, we even saw a Los Angeles jury find that platforms owned by Meta and Google were negligently designed to addict young users. I believe that that's a major legal shift, but for most, the damage is done. The youth are aware of the negative effects that the internet has had on them, but the system is designed to be hard to exit. So now, let's circle all the way back to Addison Rae and what this has to do with her. Addison started posting on TikTok in 2019, a teenager from Lafayette, Louisiana, who was a competitive dancer just hoping to gain some attention. She blew up quickly, she joined the Hype House, and became a massive influencer. I said in the beginning that I see her as a child star, and some might argue with me on that point, but as the media landscape changes, more stars are being created by the internet than by movies or TV. In some cases, it's even less regulated. Look at the family vlogging channels like Ruby Frankie's 8 Passengers, where a massive audience was built around children who were later revealed to be at the center of a major abuse case. Moving from child star to the adult you actually are has been difficult for celebrities for decades. Between management, the media, and even their own families, young stars go through a lot of turmoil trying to get some autonomy. Addison could have easily become another tragic story in the long history of child stardom, from Judy Garland all the way to Demi Lovato. She has had a tumultuous relationship with her father, who has inserted himself into her life negatively since she got famous. She faced her own backlash too, including allegations of racism and having a meeting with President Trump. Since then, she has apologized and taken steps to move away from the ideologies she grew up with. But the reason I really want to look at her now is how she navigated the pressures of the internet in a way that most young celebrities fail to manage. She might actually be the answer on how to morph this Omniopticon into a positive experience and even make it work in your favor. The first thing you have to understand about Addison is that she refuses to ask for permission. In a career built within the state of constant observation, making abrupt changes is actually way harder than it sounds. When you have built a massive brand as an influencer, the unspoken mandate is that you have to protect the image at all costs, mostly because there's so much money on the line. But I'd argue that Addison actually managed to seize control of the Omniopticon by shifting her focus inward. She's basically stopped creating for an audience, perceived or otherwise, and started creating for herself. And in doing that, she proved that you actually don't have to live to please other people to stay successful. She has a lack of fear regarding trial and error in public, and that requires a type of confidence that I think is rare, especially among young people who already have so little autonomy over their own lives. While so many of her peers are obsessed with being nonchalant, which is usually just a defense mechanism, Addison Rae is upfront about the work she's putting in. She openly talks about her vocal lessons, her dance studies, and the production team she works with to make her music. Her music videos are ambitious in an era where everyone else is tired of looking like they care too much. Personally, I think her earnestness is refreshing. She told W Magazine in 2025, "The magic really happens when you start creating purely for yourself. I take that when you create something for your own satisfaction, the negative reactions of random observers lose their power to faze you." I used to work with high school students, and I noticed this pervasive sense of hopelessness. It was a reaction to the environment where every awkward moment can be recorded and archived forever. It created this self-limiting culture where the safest bet is to just never try at all. The fear of being seen or seen trying has paralyzed an entire generation. If we look at Addison's trajectory, it offers a real antidote to that paralysis. Her approach relies on 3 fundamental truths. The internet moves on much faster than you think it will. Most people are too terrified to being watched to ever attempt what you're doing. And don't fear being seen if you're going to be watched anyway. I think it's important to make that distinction as well. Oftentimes people say that no one is thinking of you or that the anxiety of being perceived is all in your head. But if you've been on the internet, like ever, that is just not true. People will have an opinion on any and everything about you. So I say, if you're going to be watched anyway, you might as well give them the show you want to give. Addison choosing to pivot toward a new vision was a risk, but it was a choice she made with total agency on how she wants to be viewed. If Addison Rae is an example that doesn't quite sit well with you, there are 2 other people I think have a similar relationship with the Omniopticon that I find interesting. One is Pink Pantheress. When she first started releasing music online, she kept her identity completely hidden because she was afraid of what people would think of her. And if I'm being honest, it was mostly a fear of racism. As a young Black woman making a very specific niche kind of music, she knew she was going to be judged before she even had a chance to build her career. So her anonymity allowed her to control those early stages. Over time, she revealed more of herself and transformed into a legitimate pop star who has hits that stick like grits. Then there's Kai Cenat, who for years built one of the largest audience on the internet through live streaming. Recently, he quit Twitch and decided to become a fashion designer, documenting the whole journey on his YouTube channel, Kai's Mind. A lot of his audience has pushed back on this, calling him performative, which is not the word you all think it means, but I can make another video on that. And then they've been clowning him. I think it's for no good reason, but instead of letting the expectations of his audience lock him into his old role, he is using that attention as fuel to keep going. In both cases, the point isn't to escape the Omniopticon, because that's pretty much impossible, but instead to continue being what you want to be regardless of the backlash or how people will perceive you. I wanted to highlight Addison's story specifically because she made her decisions according to what she wanted to create. The recognition that followed was a result of her commitment to the process. So when I say she controls the internet, what I mean is she's internalizing her validation. When everyone is watching, the only way to control the gaze is to stop performing for it.